are on the home stretch as results continue streaming in. Tallying of votes continues countrywide as results from the Member of Parliament and members of the county are announced at the constituency level. IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati has maintained that results announced at the polling station are final. Test Jenga, let's kick off. Well, in the latest presidential results, Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga is ahead with 6,451,835, which is a 49.48%, followed closely by Kenya Kwanza's William Ruto at 6,404,512, which translates to 49.12%. Roots Party candidate George Wajakoya has 56,615, which is a 0.43%, while Agano Party's candidate Mwaure Waihiga has 29,066, a 0.22%. Now, though highly competitive, the 2022 elections were conducted in a peaceful and relatively orderly manner. This is according to the joint AU COMESA elections observers who have commended Kenya for holding peaceful elections that help uphold the socio-economic development in the country. The observers have also commended IEBC for transparency and compliance with legal framework in the electoral process. They have further called upon all stakeholders to maintain peace in the remaining process and pursue grievances through the laid out legal channels.
Closing and counting processes. Of these, 59% were in the urban areas and 41% in the rural areas. Overall, the atmosphere was largely peaceful. The election day operations were reasonably well conducted and orderly and professional. The polling staff mostly adhered to polling procedures. However, some of the stations observed by the mission did not open and close on time. In some cases, the opening was delayed by more than 2 hours, and some of the reasons for the delay included problems with the Kenyan Integrated Elections Management System, the KIT, and the late arrival of polling staff and materials, and poor preparation of the polling stations. Conclusion. Though highly competitive, the 9th August 2022 general elections were conducted in a comparatively peaceful environment. Some procedural changes made enhanced the process transparency in accordance with Kenya's legal framework and regional and international obligations and commitments for democratic elections. The joint AU COMESA election observation mission commends the authorities and people of Kenya for their efforts towards holding successful elections and deepening democratic rule, which is a prerequisite for sustainable socio-economic development in the country. While the process is still ongoing and the results management process is underway, the mission encourages all stakeholders to continue with efforts towards building a peaceful and inclusive society. It further encourages political tolerance and peace cultivated among citizens in the remaining phase of the electoral process. recommendation. And these are preliminary recommendations based on what we have observed and what we expect moving forward. In the spirit of cooperation, in furtherance of peace, credible and democratic elections in Kenya, the mission offers the following preliminary recommendations. We urge Kenyan citizens to remain peaceful while waiting for the conclusion of the electoral process. We urge the IEBC and other state institutions with a mandate on the elections to continue conduct their responsibilities with the utmost diligence and transparency, as well as compliance with the legal framework of Kenya. Lastly, we urge all stakeholders and citizens to pursue any grievances that may occur peacefully through the established legal channels.
Now, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has commended Kenyans for their patience as the commission continues to tally presidential results. In a press briefing that ended about an hour ago, the IEBC chairman Wafula Chebukati noted that final announcements and declaration of results will be done at Bomas. Hence, Kenyans should not panic as a result of the different numbers being displayed by different media. The next briefing by the Electoral Commission is expected to be at 4 p.m.
Transmitted yet. We shall give a report on those that may have not transmitted by the end of the day today. I also want to confirm that results, including those in areas that used manual voter register, that's Makueni in Kisumu West constituency, where there were 84 polling stations that voted manually, and 154 polling stations in Kakamega, especially Malava constituency, in Kakamega, have all transmitted the Form 34S, except 2 in Malava constituency. What happened here is that voting was done manual, but by the time of counting, the commission had ensured that the KIMS kits were ready and deployed for transmission. So transmission took place as envisaged in those 2 areas where largely voting was done manually. Fiscally deliver the results of Form 34As and 34Bs here at Bomas. And there are teams, as you can see, in the center of the auditorium working on it. And we hope that this exercise will largely take place mainly between today and tomorrow, and we hope to finalize in due course. As I said yesterday, just to repeat what's going on at the auditorium lobby, verification of transmitted image of results is happening from 34As against from 34Bs. That verification is what's happening there. And then there's also verification of 34Bs against 34As. And there's a team which is collating from 34C. And we shall then be able to populate that on the screen and come up with also percentages of the candidates. And then we shall also be able to know which candidate has scored in terms of the counties to meet the minimum threshold of 25%. And finally, we shall do the declaration of presidential results. In conclusion, I wish to say that the law requires that the Commission undertakes this exercise within 7 days from the presidential election, And as I said earlier, we shall endeavor to conclude this exercise at the earliest possible time. And once again, urge Kenyans for their patience as we undertake this important exercise.
Let us go to the constituencies, starting with Siaya County. James Opio Wandai has clinched the win as Ugunja constituency member of National Assembly. Wandai, who was defending his seat, garnered 32,359 votes, with his closest challenger, Oyugi Odhiambo, coming in second with 10,116. James Wandai's first appearance in politics came when he was the personal assistant to the late Deputy Speaker Joab Omino in early 1998. He began serving as the first member of parliament for the then newly created Ugunja constituency, which was created from Ugenya constituency in March 2013.
I would like to declare that James Opio Wandai of ID 119623 has been duly elected as the member of National Assembly for Ugunja constituency in the election held on the 9th day of August 2022. Therefore, take this opportunity to hand this certificate, which satisfies that he is a newly elected member for this constituency. Secondly, thank the people of Ugunja for having found it fit and necessary to give me a new mandate as their representative. I also want to thank the IEBC for the open and transparent manner it has conducted this electoral process. More importantly, as we forge ahead, we need to maintain peace and tranquility, even as we anxiously await the declaration of the 5th President of the Republic of Kenya.
Meanwhile, Alego Usonga, Member of Parliament Samuel Atandi, garnered 69,929 votes to retain his seat. Atandi, who beat 3 other contestants, becomes the first legislator to successfully defend the Alego Usonga parliamentary seat since the introduction of multi-party politics in 1992. He was declared the winner by the Alego Usonga constituency returning officer George Jobando at the constituency tallying center situated at the Siaya Institute of Technology. George Malano Mondi, a former area member of parliament who contested on a DAPK ticket, managed 14,624 votes, while independent candidate Sospita Amiga managed 2,079. The other contestant, Joseph Ocheng, also independent, garnered 581 votes. A total of 86,413 votes were cast during the exercise, adding that 546
observer,
speech. Atandi thanked the Alego Usonga constituency for electing him.
Presence of the chairman of the Nigerian Independent Electoral Commission. My good friend, thank you for being here with us.
And Joshua Odongo Oron has won the Kisumu Central Member of Parliament after defeating Fred Ouda, who is the incumbent Member of Parliament. Oron was declared the winner by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission after garnering 54,060 votes ahead of Ouda, who managed to get 24,104 votes. While addressing the press, Oron has said that he is up to the task and will continue to serve the county from where his predecessor left off.
I have networks that I'm going to use to ensure that some of the policies that I've laid down will be fulfilled. For example, the education. Secondly, I'm very committed to the business community, the small, the medium, and the large. And that is something that has never been engraved in CDF. I'm going to do it using, again, my networks, ensuring that we have reasonable, cheap loans. Troubled by the money lenders who charge them a bum and a leg, and at the end of the day they work for the cartels. I believe that I'm up to the task to implement what I stand for. As I've said when I was receiving my certificate, Honorable Fred Ouda is and was a worthy competitor. I welcome him to work with me along this journey if he's still going to live in Kisumu. I welcome everybody that supported Fred Ouda to join the team so that we build Kisumu together. I'm not going to be an MP for a section of the community, but an MP for every single individual community member who lives and works in Kisumu Central. And for that reason, there will be no boundary for children who are supported through Fred Ouda's support or network, those children who are receiving bursaries, the buildings, if we receive the CDF back again, I can assure the Kisumu Central residents that the projects that were started and not completed by Honorable Fred Ouda will be completed. Those who are benefiting fully will continue to benefit. And
notes that the political context ahead of the general election is shaped by the end of the second and final presidential term of the incumbent, growing tension at the executive branch level following a handshake between the incumbent president and the former leader of the opposition and ensuing political realignment. The 2022 general elections were held within a context marked by increased political polarization and the emergence of two formidable coalitions, the Azimio la Umoja coalition and the Kenya Kwanza coalition. The legal framework. Issa noted that the Kenya legal framework for election largely gives effect to regional and international standards for elections, which include the right to vote and to be voted for, the right to free and fair election, an independent election management body, and fundamental freedoms that allow for free will of the citizens to be expressed, such as expression and association. However, the legal framework for election in Kenya does not provide a cap on campaign financing, which has the potential to fuel election malpractices such as using money to induce the electorate. Where clarity on the legal framework was needed, Issa observed that the judiciary in Kenya were able to provide the necessary interpretation of the law, especially where stakeholders did not agree on a particular issue. It was noted that stakeholders had general confidence in the judiciary exhibited through their willingness to submit and to comply with the decisions in relation to key electoral processes, such as the verification of voters. Election administration. This emission observed that while the legal framework for election in Kenya provides for the independent administration of electoral processes, the IEBC faced significant trust deficit from citizens and some election stakeholders, particularly because of the annulment of the 2017 election. Of course, because of that annulment, it was a problem to both of us, the observers, and of course also the electoral management body. The mission also witnessed improved coordination between the IEBC and other state institutions supporting democracy following initial challenges, particularly with the security agencies following what was described as an attempt by some foreigners to bring into the country some accessory election materials without sufficiently declaring them at the airport. The ISA mission encourages the IEBC to ensure high level of compliance with legal provisions, independence, professionalism, and transparency in the conduct of the remaining electoral processes, including the transmission, the verification, and declaration of results. Regardless of challenges faced by the IEBC in the run-up to the 2022 election, the body was generally observed to have managed to fully comply with legal timelines set to complete key processes. The voter registration. The registration process conducted by IEBC was audited by KPMG, and the final report was submitted to the Commission on 18th June 2022. The full voters' roll audit report was only released a few days before the election, making it impossible for election stakeholders to independently confirm that the full audit findings had been addressed in the final voters' roll that was used during the voting process. Election campaign environment. Based on the assessment of the period immediately before, during the polling and counting processes, the ISA mission witnessed a generally peaceful environment, particularly during the last 2 days of campaign rallies. During the 48 hours ahead of the election day and during the opening of voting, closing, and counting of votes on election day. In particular, the mission acknowledges the restraint of all the presidential candidates in generally steering away inciting rhetorics in their final campaigns. Religious leaders, the National Commission on Integration and Cohesion, and civil societies for consistently encouraging candidates, parties, and citizens to remain peaceful, and state security agencies for assuring the nation of their preparedness to provide adequate security during the charged electoral process. Reports of an attack targeted at a police station allegedly attributed to bandits on pulling the risk of insecurity during the election. In all the incidents brought to the attention of the mission, adequate measures to contain the situations were deployed by the security agencies, which is commendable. The mission extends its heartfelt condolences to family and friends of the bereaved. A life lost in an electoral process is always one too many. The mission encourages the law to take its full course for justice to prevail. The civil society. Its mission acknowledges and commends the active participation of Kenyan civil society in the electoral process, particularly in voter education, election observation, advocacy, peace initiatives to promote a credible election in Kenya. The ISA mission is of the view that the constitutional and legal framework for democratic election in Kenya is largely conducive for the enjoyment of equal opportunity for women and men. Specific legal provisions relating to women's participation are largely in line with Kenya's international and regional obligations and commitments to inclusive electoral processes. The mission is also of the opinion that the constitutional provisions of the two-third gender rule is comply with the African Charter, in compliance with the African Charter on Democracy, Elections, and Governance, which commits state parties to promoting gender balance and equality in the governance and development process. On election day, the ISA team observed processes in a total of 187 sample polling stations in 10 counties in 7 regions, namely Nairobi City, Kiambu, Kitui, Makueni, Nandi, Nakuru, Nyamira, Kakamega, Kwale, and West Pokot. The ISA observed the opening and closing in 187 polling stations, 18 in urban and 5 in rural areas, and voting in 345 polling stations, 74% in urban and 26% in rural areas in 43 districts of the country in 10 provinces. The opening. Ahead of the opening of the polls, ISA mission observers noted a high number of voters waiting at the entrance of polling stations visited. In some cases, the mission observed that vast majority of polling stations visited opened on time, while few others delayed the opening process from about 10 minutes to, in some cases, close to 1 hour, due to the non-arrival of polling staff and election materials. Election materials were observed to be adequate throughout the election period. The mission noted with concern that in certain polling stations visited, authorized persons, including party and candidate agents, citizens observers, and international observers, did not have good access to the
A press briefing there by election observers at Serena. We will be getting back to that. Now, Aden Duale has retained his seat as Garissa Township Member of Parliament-elect after he garnered 9,905 votes. Duale beat his closest challenger, Nasir Mohammed Dolal of ODM, who got 5,972 votes, and Abdullahi Mohammed of PA came in third with 5,529 votes. He has retained the seat for the 4th time. Incumbent Member of Parliament John Waluke has clinched the Sirisia parliamentary seat for the 3rd time. Waluke was contesting under a Jubilee Party ticket and got 16,461 votes, followed by Nasiuma Wafula, 8,811, and Moses Nandalwe of ODM at 3,521. Omboko Milemba of ANC also retains his Emuhaya parliamentary seat. Milemba garnered 27,717 votes, trouncing Johnson Ebole of ODM, who got 3,185 votes. David Ochieng of MDG retains Ugenya parliamentary seat after garnering 25,520 votes against his opponent Daniel Odhiambo of ODM, who garnered 22,828 votes. Budalangi Member of Parliament Raphael Wanjala of ODM retains his seat after garnering 15,722 votes, followed by Maloba Alfred of UDA with 14,146 votes. Nakuru Gilgil Member of Parliament Martha Wangari has also retained her seat on a United Democratic Alliance UDA ticket after gathering a total of 35,363 votes. Now, Makueni County IEBC returning officer Moses Rarie now says all is set to receive the county results from the 6 different constituencies across the county. According to the CRO, most of the constituencies have already finished their tallies and announced the Member of Parliament and MCAs elect ready to present to him the results. Rarie, however, cited long-distance challenge, saying by the close of business today, they should be in a position to announce the results.
Yeah, my name is Morris Raria, the County Returning Officer, Makueni County. Yeah, here is we are at Wote TTI, which is the county tallying center. What we are doing currently is that we are waiting for our returning officers. Most of them currently they have finished processing their results at the constituency level, at the constituency tallying centers. And I think they are just on the way coming to the county tallying center. We shall be receiving the deputy returning officer 1. The returning officers are expected to be at Bomas of Kenya, which is the national tallying center. They are supposed to be there before the close of business today. So they are already on the way, and then here we are expecting the deputy returning officers to submit the results for their county elective positions. That is for Senate, county woman member to the National Assembly, and also for governor or gubernatorial election. So we are just here. We are set to wait for them. You can see that we already have an elaborate tallying center. We all have all our officials ready, and we are just waiting for any time we shall be expecting our deputy returning officers to be here. Then we can start processing the results for county elective positions. We are just patience. Honestly, I appeal for patience. What I've done is that I always keep my candidates updated on what was happening. They are also, of course, they are also in those at the tallying centers at the constituencies. They are also monitoring. They have agents there, so they actually know the stage at which the results are. So there will not be any anxiety if we keep them updated. We keep them in touch. We talk to their candidates. We also talk to the agents, and some of them are already here with us. They are also interested in the results which are happening there at the constituency tallying center, so they know exactly where the results are. So yeah, then they know that from there they will come here. So they are also monitoring. So I'm sure when we start receiving our deputy returning officers, then you are likely to see most of the candidates and other agents coming to the tallying center. But we appeal for that patience, and we are happy because the way we've been engaging them throughout, sending updates to them all the time, telling them the progress and where we are at every stage of the election, then they trust that we are actually doing the right thing, and they will be patient to wait until the deputy returning officers come to the county tallying center. The only issue we had with the KIMS kit affected one constituency, which is Kibwezi West. But as we speak, you see, even Makueni, which is 100 meters from here, Makueni Boys, which is a tallying center for Makueni constituency, even the DRO there has also not arrived. But it's because our focus is just to make sure that we give our returning officers sufficient time to make sure that even as they collect results, they do the verification. We are not really rushing them to a situation where, putting them into a corner so that they make mistakes when they are doing their tallies. So the process of, even after election, they have to do photocopies, they have to do scanning, so that now they bring those results in flash disks, others photocopies, so that now they come to this place. So yeah, we had that issue of a failure of KIMS kits in 84 polling stations in Kibwezi West, but we later on the commission approved the use of the printed register, and the voters there they also expressed their democratic right to vote. So we extended time for the lost time, and all of them at the end of the day they also voted. So we don't, that is not the reason as to why we have that delay. We have distances. This is a county which has a distance of 7,000 square kilometers, and it will take from Kampo in Kibwezi East for a DRO to come from there to this end probably needs around 2 hours. Yeah, so we are also looking at our distances, and also the many voters, the many polling stations which we have in the county. So that is probably the reason as to why they are taking time. But we hope they'll be here in good time for us to start processing the results at the county level.
Well, this is where it is going down at Makueni County, where the county returning officer has assured us that any time from now is going to receive the tallies from the 6 constituencies one by one. Of course, so far we have witnessed Kaiti constituency and Makueni constituency concluding their tallying, and we are hoping that any time from now, as we have been promised, they are going to start trooping inside through this door here, and we are going to keep you updated as time goes on to see who is the governor of Makueni, who is the senator of Makueni, who is the woman representative of this county, and we're going to give you the tallies as they arrive. Faith Imani Mugo reporting for Hope TV, Makueni.
Thank you, Faith, for that report. And in Kisumu County, pressure is building at the Tom Mboya Labour College, the county tallying center, as residents wait anxiously for the announcement of results from 7 constituencies which constitute Nyando, Muhoroni, Nyakach, Kisumu Central, Semi, Kisumu East, and Kisumu West. Speaking to Hope Media, this is what the returning officer in the tallying center had to say.
What time should the people of Kisumu expect you to be through with the results and being able to tally?
At Kisumu County Tallying Center, Tom Mboya Labour College, we are waiting anxiously for the Deputy Returning Officer from the 7 constituencies. That is Nyando, Seme, Kisumu West, Kisumu Central, and Kisumu East, as well as Muhoroni, Nyakachi, and the Nyando constituencies. As we expect them to start, the first one to arrive at around 1 or 2 p.m. today, and from there on, we expect they'll be coming in when they're ready from the various constituencies, and as they come, we shall be now tallying the results for the position of governor, senator, and women rep. From where I sit, I expect this process will go on up to night. We can't tell exactly when it will end, but a lot depends on what time the deputy returning officers who are bringing the results come to the tallying center at Tom Mboya Labour College.
And the security that is here, which people are expected to be here, and who are not expected to be here at the tallying center?
Of course, primary people expect to be here are the candidates themselves who are gunning for the position of governor, senator, and women rep. For the position of governor, we have 4 candidates. For the position of senator, we have 2 candidates. And for the position of women rep, we have 4 candidates. So in total, we have 10 candidates who are gunning for the positions at county level. So that's what we expect now to receive the results for those positions. And as they stream in, we announce it will be the media is already around. They're set to receive the results, and I expect they'll be communicating now with the public as we proceed with the process of announcement of the results.
Well, that is all we had for you in this hour. Stay tuned for more on our successive bulletins. I'm Tess Jenga. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.